Alexander is a common male first name, and less common surname derived from the Greek alpha lambda epsilon chi alpha nu delta rho omicron sigma. The most famous is Alexander the Great, who created one of the largest empires in ancient history. Origin. Etymologically, the name is derived from the Greek lambda epsilon chi alpha nu delta rho omicron sigma, meaning defender of the people, or defending men, and also protector of men. A compound of the verb lambda epsilon chi epsilon iota nu alexine, to ward off, to avert, to defend, and the noun nu eta rho ana, man. It is an example of the widespread motif of Greek names expressing battle prowess. In this case, the ability to withstand or push back an enemy battle line. The earliest attested form of the name is the Mycenaean Greek feminine anthroponym, Arika Sadarath, written in the linear B-syllabic script. The name was one of the titles given to the Greek goddess Hera, and as such is usually taken to mean one who comes to save warriors. In the Iliad, the character Paris is known also as Alexander. Most later Alexanders in various countries were directly or indirectly named for him. People known as Alexander. Alexander has been the name of many rulers, including kings of Macedon, of Scotland, emperors of Russia and popes. Rulers of antiquity: Alexandru, 1280 BC. Alexander, more often known as Paris of Troy. Alexander of Corinth, 10th king of Corinth. Alexander I of Macedon. Alexander II of Macedon. Alexander III of Macedon, commonly known as Alexander the Great. Alexander IV of Macedon. Alexander V of Macedon. Alexander of Pherae, despot of Pherae between 369 and 358 BC. Alexander I of Epirus, king of Epirus about 342 BC. Alexander II of Epirus, king of Epirus 272 BC. Alexander, viceroy of Antigonus Gonatas and ruler of a rump state based on Corinth c. 250 BC. Alexander Ballus, ruler of the Seleucid kingdom of Syria between 150 and 146 BC. Alexander Zabinas, ruler of part of the Seleucid kingdom of Syria based in Antioch between 128 and 123 BC. Alexander Jannaeus, king of Judea, 103-76 BC. Alexander of Judea, son of Aristobulus II, king of Judea. Alexander Severus, Roman emperor. Julius Alexander, lived in the 2nd century, an Emessene nobleman. Domitius Alexander, Roman usurper who declared himself emperor in 308. Rulers of the Middle Ages: Alexander, Byzantine emperor. Alexander I of Scotland. Alexander II of Scotland. Alexander Nevsky, Prince of Novgorod and Grand Prince of Vladimir. Alexander III of Scotland. Alexander I of Georgia. Alexander II of Georgia. Alexander, Prince of Podolia. Alexandru I Aldea, ruler of the Principality of Wallachia. Eskander, Emperor of Ethiopia. Alexander Jagiellon, King of Poland. Alexandru Lupuzninu, Voivode of Moldavia. Modern rulers: Alexander I of Russia, Emperor of Russia. Alexander II of Russia, Emperor of Russia. Alexander III of Russia, Emperor of Russia. Alexander Karađorđević, Prince of Serbia. Alexander of Bulgaria, first Prince of Bulgaria. Alexandru Ioan Cuza, Prince of Romania. Alexander I Obrenović of Serbia, King of Serbia. Alexander, Prince of Lipa, Prince of Lipa. Alexander I of Yugoslavia, first King of Yugoslavia. Alexander, Crown Prince of Yugoslavia, head of the Yugoslav royal family. Zogaj, also known as Skenderbeg III, King of Albanians. Alexander of Greece, King of Greece. Leka, Crown Prince of Albania, King of Albanians. Willem Alexander, King of the Netherlands, eldest child of Queen Beatrix and Prince Claus. Other royals: Alexander, Judean prince, one of the sons of Herod the Great from his wife Mariam. Alexander, Judean prince, son to the above Alexander and Cappadocian princess Glafra. Alexander, son of Bulgarian Tsar Ivan Shishman. Prince Alexander John of Wales, short-lived son of Edward VII. Prince Alexander of Belgium. Several other princes have borne the name Alexander. George V of Hanover. Prince Alfred of Edinburgh and Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Prince George, Duke of Kent. Olav V of Norway. Prince Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Prince George of Cambridge. Religious leaders: Pope Alexander I. Alexander of Apamea, 5th century Bishop of Apamea. Pope Alexander II. Pope Alexander III. Pope Alexander IV. Pope Alexander V. Pope Alexander VI. Roman Pope. Pope Alexander VII. Pope Alexander VIII. Alexander of Constantinople, Bishop of Constantinople. Saint Alexander of Alexandria, Coptic Pope, Patriarch of Alexandria between 313 and 328. Pope Alexander II of Alexandria, Coptic Pope. Alexander of Lincoln, Bishop of Lincoln. Alexander of Jerusalem. See also Saint Alexander. Various saints with this name. Other people using the name Alexander include: Antiquity: Alexander, the name of a number of artists of ancient Greece, Rome and Macedon. Alexander, 3rd century BC general, commanded the cavalry under Antigonus III Doson. Alexander of Athens, Athenian comic poet. Alexander Lyncestes, contemporary of Alexander the Great. Alexander Aetolis, poet and member of the Alexandrian Pleiad. Alexander, son of Lysimachus, 3rd century BC Macedonian royal. Alexander, Aetolian general, briefly conquered Agira in 220 BC. Alexander, son of Polyperchon, the regent of Macedonia. Alexander Isius, 2nd century military commander of the Aetolians. Alexander of Acarnania, confidant of Antiochus III the Great. Alexander Lichnus, early 1st century BC poet and historian. Alexander Polyhistor, Greek scholar of the 1st century. Alexander of Cnidus, ancient Greek writer on zoology and divination. Alexander of Agae, peripatetic philosopher of the 1st century. Alexander of Cotyrium, 2nd century Greek grammarian and tutor of Marcus Aurelius. Alexander Numenis, or Alexander, son of Numenis, 2nd century AD, Greek rhetorician. Alexander the Paphlagonian, 2nd century Greek impostor. Alexander Peloplaton, Greek rhetorician of the 2nd century. Alexander of Lycopolis, 4th century author of an early Christian treatise against Manichaeans. Alexander of Aphrodisias, Greek commentator and philosopher. Alexander, a member of the Jerusalem Temple Sanhedrin mentioned in Acts chapter 4 verse 6. Middle Ages: Alexander of Hales, 13th century medieval theologian. Modern Alexander, stage magician specializing in mentalism. Jeffrey C. Alexander, American sociologist. Alexander McQueen, British fashion designer and couturier. Olivina, Brazilian basketball player also known as Alexandra. Alex Rodriguez, Major League Baseball star, won 3 LMVP awards, also known as A-Rod. People with the given name Alexander. Internationally famous people with the given name Alexander or variants include Alexander Argov, Russian-born Israeli composer. Alexander Averbuk, Israeli-European champion pole vaulter. Alec Baldwin, American actor. Alexander Graham Bell, Scottish inventor of the first practical telephone. Alexander Day, British 18th century confidence trickster. Alexander Djordjevic, Serbian basketball player. Alexander Dubček, leader of Czechoslovakia. Alexandre Dumas, French writer. Alexander Liu Sabio, also known as Alexander Orzander, South Korean solo singer, ex-member of South Korean band U-KISS. Alex Ferguson, ex-manager of Manchester United FC. Alexander Fleming, Scottish discoverer of penicillin. Alexander Zusha Friedman, Polish rabbi, educator, activist, and journalist. Alexander Gomelski, Russian head coach of USSR basketball national team for 30 years. Alexander Garlick, Soviet figure skater. Alexander Gould, American actor. Alexander Gustafsson, Swedish mixed martial arts fighter. Alexander Haig, United States general and politician. Alexander Hamilton, a founding father of the United States. Alex Higgins, Northern Irish former snooker world champion. Alexander Korda, Hungarian film director. Alexander Levinsky, Canadian NHL ice hockey player. Alexander Ivanovich Lebedev, Russian writer. Alexander Eliaquet VIAF, French golfer. Alexandra Lippmann, French two-time Olympic champion EAQT fencer. Alexander Ludwig, Canadian actor. Sandy Lyle, Scottish golfer. Alexander Lukashenko, President of Belarus. Alessandro Manzoni, Italian poet and novelist. Alexander Ali Marpet, American football player in the NFL. Alexander McQueen, British fashion designer. Alexander Nikolov, bronze medalist at 1964 Olympics. Alexander O'Neill, American singer. Alexander Ovechkin, Russian hockey player for the Washington Capitals. Alexander Pechtold, Dutch politician. Alexander Penn, Israeli poet. Alexander Pope, English poet. Alexander Popov, Russian swimmer. Alexander Pushkin, Russian writer. Alexander Rowe, Australian athlete. Alexander Rudolph, American world champion middleweight boxer. Alexander Rybak, Norwegian artist and violinist. Alexander Salkind, French film producer. Alexander Seaman, Russian hockey player for the Carolina Hurricanes. Alexander Shatilov, Uzbek-Israeli artistic gymnast. Alexander Skarsgård, Swedish actor. Alexander McCall Smith, Scottish writer. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Russian writer. Lex Van Dam, Dutch trader and TV personality. Alexander Weingold, Estonian and Soviet chess player and coach. Alessandro Volta, Italian physicist. Aleksandar Vučić, Prime Minister of Serbia. Alexander Yusuf, Somali British architect. Variants and diminutives. Albanian, Alexander, Alexandra, Alessander, Isandra, Alex, Alexa, Aleko, Lex, Leka, Leka, Sander, Sandra, Leander, Leandra, Lexander, Lysander, Lysandra, Skender, Skender, Iskonder, Amharic, Arabic, Aragonese, Alexandra, Alexandre, Armenian, Asturian, Alexandru, Azerbaijani, Isgender, Bashka, Basque, Alessander, Alessandra, Alexander, Alexandra, Belarusian P.E., Bengali, Sikander, Alexandra, Iskander, Skander, Alexander, Bulgarian, Catalan, Alexandra, Alexandra, Alex, Alex, Sandra, Zander, Chinese, Corsican, Lisandru, Croatian, Alexander, Sasa, ACO, Alexandra, Czech, Alexander, Ailes, Sasa, Danish, Alexander, Alex, Alexandra, Dutch, Alexander, Alex, Lex, Alexandra, Sander, Sandra, Zander, Emiliano Romagnolo, Lysander. English, Alexander, Alec, Alex, Al, Alexis, Alexa, Alexandria, Alexandra, Ek, Lex, Lexi, Sandra, Lexi, 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 Sandy, Sasha, Zander, Zandra, Zandra, Zander, Esperanto, Alexandro, Alexakho, Aleko, ACJO, Alexo, Alco, Alec, Alec, Alexandra, Alexino, Alexandro, Anjo. Estonian, Alexander, Sander, Sandra, Sas, Alex. Ethiopian, Eskinder, Iskinder. Extremadurian, Alejandro. Faroese, Alexander, Axel, Alex, Sander, Filipino, Alexander, Alejandro, Alejo, Alex, Sandy, Zandro, Alexandra, Alessandra. Finnish, Alexanteri, Santstu. French, Alexandra, Alexis, Alex. Galician, Alexandra, Alex. Georgian, German, Alexander, Alex, Alexandrine, Alexandra, Sasha, Sandro, Sandra. Greek alpha lambda epsilon chi alpha mu delta rho omicron sigma alpha lambda epsilon kappa omicron sigma alpha lambda epsilon chi alpha nu delta rho alpha alpha lambda epsilon kappa alpha. Gujarati, Hawaiian, Alaka, Hebrew, Hindi, Hindustani, Sikandar Alexandra, Hungarian, Sandor, Sani, Icelandic, Alexander, Alex, Alexis, Axel, Alexandra, Indonesian, Iskandar, Interlingua, Alexandro, Irish, Alasandar, Alistar, Alsander, Italian, Alessandro, Ale, Alex, Sandro, Alessio, Alejandro, Alessandra, Sandra, Alessia. Japanese, Javanese, Alexander, Iskander, Kazakh, Eskandir, Korean, Kurdish, Askander, Eskander, Iskandara, Askanar, Ask, Kyrgyz, Latin, Alexander, Alexandris, Latvian, Alexanders, Sandis, Sandris, Lithuanian, Alexandris, Alexas, Sandra, Lombard, Lysander, Luxembourgish, Alexander, Alexandra, Macedonian, Malay, Iskander, Malayalam, Maltese, Alexandru, Mandarin Chinese, Yalashanda or Alishanda, Manx, Alistar, Alistair, Marathi, Alexandra, Sikandar, Mirandese, Alexander, Mongolian, Nepali, Norwegian, Alexander, Alec, Alexander, Alex, Sander, Alexandra, Occidental, Alexandro, Occitan, Alexandra, Persian, Middle Persian, Alexander, Polish name, Alexander, Alec, Oleg, Alex, Portuguese, Alexandra, Zander, Alexandra, Alexandro, Alex, Sandro, Sandra, Alessandro, Alessandra, Punjabi, Romanian, Alexandru, Alexandra, Alex, Alex, Sandu, Sander, Sandra, Alaku, Alakar, Lisandru, Sasa, Russian, Sanskrit language, Alexandra, Alexandra, Inlakchandra, Scots Gaelic, Alistair, 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 Aldair, Ali, Ali, Al, Serbian, A, or, derived from, Sicilian, Alexandru, Sinhala, Ishkandar, Old Church Slavonic, Slovak, Alexander, Slovene, Alexander, Alex, Sandy, Saso, Spanish, Alejandro, Alexandro, Alejo, Alex, Ale, Jandro, Yano, Cano, Lisandro, Sandro, Alejandra, Lisandra, Sandra, Swedish, Alexander, Alex, Alexandra, Tamil, Alexander, Telugu, Alexandaru, Thai, Turkish, Iskandar, Ukrainian, Urdu, Pakistani, or Uzbek, Iskandar, Venetian, Alessandro, Vietnamese, Alexandro, Alichsun, Vora, Alexandri, Welsh, Alexander, Alessander, West Frisian, Alexander, Yiddish Sender, Sendel.